Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to our show, Abductions 101, UFOs and the Paranormal Connection. I'm your host, Leslie Shaw.
Co-host Stephen Shaw.
And welcome. I wanted to have Stephen tell you something he found online, which I found very disturbing.
Yes, it has to do with the disappearance of Major General, McCasland. And of course, the suspicious disappearance June 22nd last year of
his colleague,
Riza, who worked with him in, metallurgy and in aerospace, developing different metals for airplanes. She's the one that disappeared off that hiking trail in the Los Angeles mountains, and just within 30 feet of her hiking partner. Anyway, I found out I did a lot of research on this. And she was already being declared dead, having died on the 22nd of June.
No, having gone missing on the 22nd.
She was gone missing, but actually on the 26th, she was declared being dead on the 22nd. This is what I read.
Only 4 days?
This is, as they said, and the guy said, listen, we're still doing the investigation. We were still doing the investigation. She hasn't been found yet. No explanation, but she was already being declared. And they don't know how this happened, but she, just 4 days after she went missing, she was being declared dying on the 22nd of June. Go figure that.
Crazy. I wanted to talk today. One of the last episodes of our show, we discussed the Pleiadeans map a little bit.
Oh, yes.
And I have a theory on the Pleiadeans map. This is our globe with the North Pole and South Pole where my fingers are, if you can see that. Oh dear, Russia is green, so it's fading out on our green screen.
Yeah, we're fading out too.
We are too. Well, anyway, what I wanted to say is I believe that the Younger Dryas comet impact caused a lithospheric shift.
Yeah, Charles Hapgood's theory with Einstein back in the 50s.
Yes, and he thought one happened between 12,000 and 18,000 years ago. And we now know that the Younger Dryas comet impacted 12,850 years ago. It was right during an ice age, so we had a lot of polar ice trapped at the water ice trapped at the poles. And the same thing with the Pleiadeans map has to do with Siberia.
Yes. Very important here.
So the mammoths were discovered in northern Siberia, higher into the
Arctic Circle.
Near the Arctic Circle.
Yes.
In an area they could not have lived.
Yeah, they need big grassy plains.
Right. So if Siberia was lower and the lithospheric shift moved it, it would also have moved the Queen Maud Land coast. And that would have become further north by the number of degrees,
yes.
And it would have put the Queen Maud Land coast above the Arctic Circle line. That's why the Pleiadeans map shows part of Antarctica without ice.
And lithospheric shift is the theory that the crust of the Earth, which is about 20 miles thick, is literally like the outer skin of an orange, and it will, when it slips, it moves. It moves together. It moves as a unit, not like the tectonic plates where you have earthquakes and all that.
No, the entire crust.
The entire crust moves as a unit, and therefore it would have been, displacement of the seabeds and such as that, and it would have happened very quickly, up to like 1,000 miles or more in a day. Okay, which would have caused the incredible mass extinction and the mass instantaneous freezing of the mammoths and the mastodons, which are still being found as of today.
Yeah, with food in their mouths still, like right. They were mid-chew.
Whatever happened almost instantaneously. It was not just the winter just kicked in, it was a bad winter. That's not how it works.
No. So anyway, we wanted to clarify a little bit about the Pleiadeans map. Now, tonight, our wonderful guest is Sandra Deseke, all the way from Germany. She is a Star Seed, and we wanted to hear more about Star Seed experiences. As you recall, if you're a fan of the show, you'll recall we had Natalie Hill as a guest twice last year, in fact. And she's another Star Seed. And we kind of wanted to find out if the Star Seeds in general are saying roughly the same thing.
Continuity.
Yeah. So we'll be back in just a few minutes with our wonderful guest.
Righto.
Good evening. Are you wondering if the UFO phenomenon is real?
Are you wondering who is flying the UFOs in our skies?
Are you wondering if aliens are really abducting people?
Then you need to read this book.
The book is titled Who They Are and What They're Up To.
Find out the true identity of the aliens.
Learn a very brief history of the UFO cover-up.
Find out where the aliens are hiding.
Find out why our government is in league with them.
Learn about their bizarre hybrid breeding program.
Find out why their technology is 13,000 years ahead of ours.
The reference section of this book alone is worth the price.
Again, that was Who They Are and What They're Up To by Leslie and Stephen Shaw.
Now available on Amazon and coming soon in the Spanish and Czech languages.
And soon to be in English and Spanish audiobook.
With a new foreword by fellow author and abductee Karen Wilkinson.
Again, that was Who They Are and What They're Up To by Leslie and Stephen Shaw, now available on Amazon. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to our show, Abductions 101, UFOs and the Paranormal Connection. Again, I'm Leslie Shaw.
Stephen Shaw here.
And our wonderful guest tonight is Sandra Deseke, all the way from Germany. And I wrote down her introduction here. It's she is a certified psychic medium and animal communicator. She is a star seed with a role in the Galactic Alliance. She has met various alien beings and witnessed various different ships. And she is actively working in the astral realm. Sandra, welcome, and thank you so much for doing the show.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you for your invitation.
Oh, we're very pleased to have you. In your information that you sent to me, you mentioned it all started in 2023 with a levitation in the presence of an Anunnaki. Could you tell us about that?
Yes, it started long before that, but that was the main point where it started to become really real in this realm. And
Right.
It was that kind of, I was in my bed. It was at night and I woke up, but when I woke up completely, I was already levitating above my bed. I was laughing like crazy, so kind of like I was awake before, but it was very loud. I was thinking I wake the whole neighborhood up because it's just a flat here. And on the end of my bed was a person, a being. I always call them person. It was like a person, but like with a layer, not completely clear visual, more like a bit foggy. But I could see that the person had a beard and something was standing there holding my bedding up. And I was slowly lowered onto the bed. And I had memories in my mind that I was on the craft. I had memories about that I talked with them on the craft and that they said that the whole disclosure process will start soon. And that was right 2 weeks before it all started, that over America, Canada, these drones, UFOs were shot down, were flying over. And so that made it even more real for me that I knew it right before, that something is going on and coming out.
Interesting, because in 2023, the summer, July, I believe it was, we had a big congressional hearing with
Yes.
the two whistleblower pilots from the Navy pilots and David Grush, the intelligence officer. So I would mark the beginning of our current push for disclosure somewhere around that time.
Exactly. Mine was in January, and then in the beginning of February, there was this thing that I think it was Canada and Alaska. I'm not so sure, where they were all like, what are these drones? Nobody knows. Are these Chinese balloons or not? And I told before everybody like what I had, who believes in it, like family and in my groups. And then when they saw it, they were like, whoa, there's really something going on. Yeah.
Well, you have a pair of believers here, that's for sure.
It's interesting, you're talking about the winter months because it seems to be too, from what I found, and what because I've had this my whole life since the age of 3 that I can recall. But anyway, so what we found with a lot of our guests and with myself is that the vast preponderance of these contacts will happen in the fall, and especially in the winter time.
Yeah, winter months for some reason.
Okay.
How about you?
I know that they can show their crafts better in summertime here. I mean, I have always crafts above me somehow because of the work. They're always kind of around, but they show better in summertime because they can pretend better to be something else because of the clear view. If someone else sees it. But I think it has also to do because the shooting star part and stuff is in the summertime here, so they can pretend, we are just a shooting star or satellite or whatever, and it's easier when there are no clouds. I mean, sure, they can show themselves in the clouds and make like symbols with the clouds and light them completely up, but they can show much more when it's like cloud free here, I would say.
Well, we live in Southern California, so we don't get a heck of a lot of rain. So.
I wanted to ask what an Anunnaki looks like. I'm dying to know that question.
I mean, the ones I know, they look like kind of very human-like, like us, just a bit bigger. Sometimes with beard, some of them look more like Norwegian, not Nordic, like Vikings, I would call them, maybe like my Viking type. But really depends because these that I work with together is a split group of the Anunnaki from the future, and they were what would you call incarnated as Anunnakis, but their soul is much more than that. They learned it like we learned over time. When they started to come on Earth as Anunnaki, they also didn't know about their higher purpose and abilities and so on, and just remembered who they were. And so they can now also change how they look to other people, some of them, because of the dimensions they're from, the beings they're from, they're kind of the both main, what people would call maybe creator gods or whatever, are there, so they can show themselves as different people and even use different bodies for different missions.
So the bodies you were seeing may not actually be their true form.
Yes. Yes,
that makes sense. If you're gonna, if let's say you don't want to scare people, you probably want to assume a a pleasing countenance.
Because that's what they try when I was little. That's what they try, and it backfired because they were thinking beings with very big eyes and big heads would be kind of cute for me with my past life connection, and I totally got crazy and scared, but they thought, it's better we use a different look. Yes,
that's so funny. Steve saw them as garden gnomes when he was a little boy.
When I was 8, and my brother saw them too when he turned 8, and he basically was frightened of them, and he spent 2 years living in the closet. And I asked Bill, why are you sleeping in the closet? And he said, well, I'm afraid of little men that come at night. And he saw the exact same thing. He was 6 years young. He's gone now, but he was 6 years younger than me. And that's how he saw them the first time.
And he believed them because he'd seen them too.
But these were ET or no, like elemental beings that live on Earth, like.
Yeah, we've had a family handler for going back 4 generations on our bloodline, going back 150 years, going back to Germany, England, Scotland for sure, and England and California, and the same being called Oglegli keeps on showing up throughout different people's, lives,
over hundreds of years.
I've met Oglegli. My brother met Oglegli. My uncle met Oglegli. My mom met Oglegli. And it's always the same. About 6.5 feet tall, skinny, with the large eyes,
like a gray, a tall gray.
My brother actually saw it as a tall gray in 1982, and he was not at all into this kind of stuff. This is, and And I had all the coins magnetized in my pocket when I was 19. You know, the whole family was experiencing all this at the same time in 2 different locations, 350 miles apart. And my mom and all the women on her side of the bloodline were all automatic writers and psychics.
I wanted to ask, thank you for that lead in, dear. I wanted to ask that question as, were your family also targeted?
Yes, kind of. I don't call mine a bit so much of targeting, because for me it's a bit different, because we were kind of against the bad ones. We're kind of the opposite of it. But yes, there's also bloodlines, connections, and beside of the targeting, also the psychic abilities. For example, my great aunt, she could see dead people on the streets, like the deceased friends, family members. They were actively abilities. The targeted with the family line here is more like the opposite. I was brought here kind of incarnated because I was before living with them together. I don't come. I mean, I had my human's life on Earth, but I also had with different species lives, and then from the future came back here to go back on Earth. And so we decided to look for a bloodline that is fitting, that is kind of connected, and also where are some kind of hybrid DNA in it, so the soul and the mission with the bloodline fits together.
That makes that's parallels what Stephen experienced for sure.
Yeah, and our research in the book Imminent, Luis Elizondo, you know, the whistleblowers with the Tic Tac and the Go Fast and the Gimbal videos that were released in 2017. Apparently, the United States government has put multi-millions of dollars into scanning the brains of people that are psychics,
abductees,
and remote viewers, and they found a couple things. Number one, they tend to be of Scottish and Cherokee bloodline that's very high, way beyond the statistical average, right? They have a higher tendency to have what are called hyperdeveloped caudate putamen, which is near the thalamus of the brain, and then the parahippocampal gyrus. These areas are hyper-stimulated and hyper-developed in people that have these abilities, and it tends to also run in bloodlines too, which is kind of interesting.
So we've known all our lives that there's some sort of psychic connection to the alien phenomenon, and that book just confirmed it, because the abductees have the same kind of brains as psychics
and remote viewers.
Yes. So I shouldn't have used targeted. Chosen maybe is a better word.
Yeah, chosen also doesn't fit so much if you come together with him. But yes, it's okay. I understand it. And in the way, we are also targeted, because when we work for the good, the bad are very close. And
yeah.
I did acupuncture on multiple dogs and cats when I was an acupuncturist and Chinese herbalist, and that was my calling, to be a state licensed acupuncturist and Chinese herbal master, and a Tai Chi teacher for 23 years. That was my calling.
Would you mind telling us what you mean by the good ones and the bad ones?
Yeah. There are different kind of groups that are working, fighting, living all around us, controlling humans. Many know or hear probably about the dark elite, the dark projects, dark military, but also like the bad species, like the Dracos from the Draco Empire, and the Greys that work for the Dracos. That so many different groups of Greys. I also work with Greys together, but not these type of. That's like my hybrid group, for example, is also like a species from Zeta Reticuli, but not these bad ones. And also some kind of Nordics. They're even pretending to be good ones. And then there is this good group who like what you said, who I work with the Alliance, the Galactic Federation, and this is really like source military fleet. So there's like the main two creator god, like first the source creator herself manifested, like Lady Isis, and then there's Commander Enki, her husband, who is also like the divine male and divine female, and who manifested or incarnated for many missions here on Earth. For example, Jesus and Mary, these were these two, or in other life, like old gods' names, like when you think about, for example, Aphrodite or Venus or Poseidon, or in Egypt they incarnated because they tried already there to save sometimes, like Akhenaten and Nefertiti. These were also supposed to, like, but it didn't work out as I liked, and so on. And so this time,
they were monotheistic. Yeah.
yeah.
And the ancient Sumerians as well, right? This is
exactly. They were incarnated as the Anunnaki, and that's why they still use it. And they come from the holy dragon bloodline. They are not dragons, but their soul are kind of called dragon bloodlines. And they are dragons in a way. Their soul are dragons, but not like the Dracos, the reptilians. And they came here. The interesting thing is, in my regression I saw how I worked with them, the connection, how I was with them here in the, I made like a hypnotherapy with a hypnotherapist to go into regression past life, to look what fits what I got and what I know with them before I remembered, or more what I work on the craft. And I saw how we all decided as Alliance to come back on Earth, but also how we started to go first on Earth with the Anunnaki and forgot everything. Like, I remember I was like a gray being, and I was very surprised because in my hypnotherapy everybody wants to be like something nice, beautiful, right? Like a Pleiadian or like a Andromedan or whatever. And I close my eyes and then I get this scary gray toes in front of me. So and I tried to get into Project Earth because I was a scientist anyway on Earth, but only for rocks and stuff. And then I was accepted, and then I said goodbye to family, friends, whatever, and went into this Anunnaki incarnation. But we forgot really everything, where we are from, what abilities we have. We thought it's all our own idea, that we go on Earth, that we get the gold, and even that we create humans. And only over time we remembered who we really are, and then decided to leave Earth. And so, yeah. Sorry.
What is your role?
Get lost in the questions.
Oh, sorry, there. I didn't mean to,
yeah. Did I answer the question? I'm not sure.
Yeah, thank you. What is your role in the Alliance?
I have different kind of roles. For example, negotiations with other beings, people, persons from different species, but also like human military from different countries, like American, English, and German, but also some other countries. Also, I am working on, what's the word? Sorry. Anyway, we go on with the others. I help with missions over, like here with the speaker, not with this speaker, but like on the craft to like map what they do down, for example, in the bases when they rescue children, humans trafficked, or other beings trafficked on different planets, to get them out. So I overview it from here. I sometimes translate languages that I don't remember here, but when I go astrally, I don't go always with the body. Most times it's astrally, and then I remember from my past lives the language, and so they sometimes take me. So I translate something. For example, one time they wanted that a gray and military, I think American dark military base on the moon, they should leave it. And so they took me with them. So I translate the text kind of for the gray, so they understand what they shall do. Then also we change and close timelines to get to the final dates, whereas in the end for why only one timeline, so the enemy can't get around over the timelines, because they can go also back and forth, jumps through timelines and so on.
Now, another starseed I met said that they're also moving interdimensionally. Is that true?
I was gone. Where did I stop? Where was I gone?
We heard it all.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Wonderful.
It came through on our end.
Okay.
Another starseed we met told us that they travel interdimensionally as well, and that some of them reside on Venus, which is uninhabitable, of course, but not in another parallel dimension, apparently.
On all planets. It's just not only that, the information we get from the people, from the science people, are wrong. On every planet are beings living or on their moons. So also on Jupiter, Saturn, especially with many rescue missions on Jupiter, because it's very big. There are many minds where and this is not just this dimension. Yes, there are many dimensions. And our crafts come from kind of like, because it's a source military, kind of the highest dimension, but also like the bad ones, like the Dracos, for example, they can go until up the 6th dimension. So we have to go in this dimension and then also use that's sometimes why we use different bodies, for example, that are fitting for the dimension. So,
yeah, like you may not be able to, one body maybe not be able to survive in that environment, right?
Yeah, like humans can travel humans can travel in the Jinn state or the astral state or the remote viewing state. They're different states that we can travel in.
Yes, exactly.
We noticed really early on in our investigations that there is definitely an astral component to this, like that. Stephen was getting a lot of communication in the astral state, and it seems like it's just easier if they have just a message, right? But rather than having to physically take you every time, right?
And for me, all the aliens, which we actually call cousins, all of them actually the simplest way for them to communicate is basically through telepathy, because it is the most basic form of communication, way before language. Because it's basically every single thought is a chemical process, and that's why you don't have to think of the word tree in 10,000 different languages, because it's the chemical reaction that makes you see the tree, so you understand the person is talking about a tree. So that's why, there's this reverse understanding of telepathy. They think it's the more highly developed. It's actually the most basic. And we basically branched off from there to make it more symbolic so that we could make blueprints. Like I keep on telling people, you cannot build the pyramids without a blueprint and a workforce.
So the Nibiru, the Anunnaki, do they, like the Sumerian tablets tell us, are they actually from this other planet, Nibiru?
Yes. That is correct.
And is it coming? When is it due to arrive next? There's a lot of debate as to when it's coming.
It won't arrive. It won't arrive for a while. There's also some trouble because on Nibiru there's still Anu. I'm sure you know Anu.
Anu.
He's kind of like the father of Enki and Enlil and Isis. So. He is still on this planet. The problem is he worked against, what is the word? I don't know. But he told Enki one thing, told Enlil another thing, so that both brothers fight with each other to give them apart so he keeps the powers. So Enki and Enlil, they are very angry about what their father did. And I think they might have there some kind of conflict too in the future, but we will see.
Lots in the past.
I hope. There were conflicts in the past here on Earth with their own children and stuff, and with each other. Yeah, but this is kind of sorted out now. It's more about what he did. That he made them all have this conflict to control them, because he's not as high from his soul level. He's still in this lower kind of form where it's all about ego and power, and they are not anymore, because
tell about the city that was found too.
Oh yes, this has kind of been really exciting news for us. The in the Sumerian tablets, they talk about Sitchin talks about the kingdom of Enki, called the Abzu. And it was supposed to be at the place of the waters in the bottom of Africa. And the place of the waters, we think, is the Zambezi River and Victoria Falls.
In the Congo.
And this wonderful bay that the water dumps into. And right around this area, they've discovered from space this enormous settlement that's ancient, like
200,000 years.
They've tested detritus at the bottom of these mines that they found there, testing to 200,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, like I was telling everybody before, that doesn't just predate our mining abilities, that predates modern man.
Yes.
It's
There's
so long
a
ago.
very important part of Enki and very important Anunnaki bases also underneath in Africa, and it is. There's also kind of more about that is underneath, that is even deeper than what you can see underneath the water, like what we would say, like we know there are the plates of the continents, and then underneath we know now it's around, there's also water, even that deep. There's also some part called Abzu, but it's a very important thing, and they still have bases there now and in it right now.
So it's actually been discovered, and that's that goes a long way to backing up Sitchin and his theories about the Anunnaki and the tablets.
Yeah, it's great that they let the information out now. I'm sure they found before some stuff, but didn't tell anyone.
Yeah, so is Ninhursag or Anana that worked with Enki too?
They are the same. They are the same. You need to remember, that's from my info, it's all Lady Isis, because over the time they lived kind of like forever, and over the time, the cultures, the continents,
they just change their names all the time.
They had names, different names everywhere, and sometimes later on they even changed bodies, and even then when they all left, they went into hybrid bodies as pharaohs to stay here because they had an agreement. And so in the end it doesn't matter if it's Ninhursag or Inanna, they're both the same. But yes, I know what you mean.
They changed name. There was, writing our book about this, it was really hard to track the activities of the Anunnaki, because they changed their names when they moved here. They change their names when they get a different job. They change their names when they move location. And then every culture called them something different. So
even
just keeping track of who these guys are is really tough.
Yes, even every city had every name. And now that they still try to tell, that are somehow their children and children and try to connect it, that makes it only more difficult, because that mix it all up. Yes.
I was wondering if you have an alien handler, kind of like Stephen's family did. Did you have one alien in particular that was your handler?
Your connection.
The one communicating with you the most?
Not really. There were times with different ones. So handler, I wouldn't call it, not at all, because handler I know in the other side, like the ones who are controlling or pushing someone in certain directions. So I won't call handler any one of these anyway, but they were different ones in different times. I work close with Enki himself, but when they gave me all these connections, there were different friends or from past lives. Like, for example, for a while there was Sham, who is like from Zeta Reticuli, from Shambhala, who was like the other species humans were created from, like from Zeta, the Shambhala, and the Anunnaki, who were kind of mixed in the pharaohs later on and helped. He was a very good friend. Then in the Anunnaki terms, there were some kind of old connections, or even like children from future past lives, even, so it's very complicated. like children from other lifetimes who came in. So there was a lot of different beings that are kind of connected for a while, depending what I was supposed to learn or what we kind of worked together.
Is Shambhala under Mount Kailash?
I know that there is in Inner Earth a city called Shambhala after these beings. And I'm also call him only Sham because he said I can't pronounce his name with my tongue here, how my body
Your
is
vocal
built.
cord,
Yeah, fair enough.
Yes. So
I
I'm
can't
not
speak
sure.
whale,
I
you know,
heard
myself.
about other Shambalas, but I don't know about it, so I can't tell you.
If it's in that mountain or not.
There are many bases in mountains, but I'm not sure if there's...
Yeah, they love mountains, especially volcanoes for some reason, you know.
Yeah, they tease, but also the military. They have also many bases in the mountains and use their own technology, yes.
Now, I apologize for this next question if it's sensitive, but were you ever utilized as the part of this breeding program, the hybrid alien breeding program?
Not like this. We are more there like to stop the hybrid breeding program because it is against certain divine laws. But I made what means agreement. When I was younger, I wanted to have some kind of hybrid, I don't know, I have hybrid children, let's say this, but because I asked for it with mine, who are partly Anunnaki, some of them are with Mantids, one is kind of like a gecko, but they are all on the crafts and working there. So it's not like these hybrid programs with the Greys or something, because they are kind of our enemy. We kind of fight them. These are the ones that working together with the dark military. So no.
What's the difference between the tall Greys and the small Greys? I think the small Greys are like an engineered race, but I wish I could be sure, you know, but.
There are, again, many tall and many small Greys, but there is small Grey race or bodies that are more like controlled by AI or that they use as suits. Yeah, for example, we have some Mantids on crafts who kind of very good in with the telepathic work and so on, but they're not very good with the hands. Let's say this way, because the Mantids have, so they have many of these little Grey beings who are not really beings. They're kind of then the workers, a bit like we would use here, like robots in the future who do our work.
Yeah, that's what it seems to me. Like they behave kind of robotically. The testimony we've been hearing. Anyway,
yeah, but not all. There are also species. They are just small.
I think they just kind of the tall Greys are like actual beings. But maybe they took their DNA to create these little Greys, or maybe. Is that far-fetched?
Some are completely artificial, so there is no. Some are like a mix biological and android-like, because there are many androids. There are also like human androids on different planets where you couldn't tell if they're humans or not.
Really?
Yes,
we're moving towards that right now on this planet. We're moving towards creating androids and
but they also already exist. We just don't have access and not tell us who they are. But I spoke with some, and they are used, for example, by the military on other planets and by other races to pretend to be just like humans or like a different races there, so they can eat if they want, they can pretend to go on the toilet and stuff, but this is only, they told me, it's to that people feel comfortable around it so they can take over their planets, so it's not really a good thing.
Right, so it's like like a slow invasion, kind of slowly taking over, right?
Yes, first slow until they can
desensitize
have enough information, to take it over.
Wow.
Well, I don't see very much positive for the future for human beings right now. As far as what's going
what
on
happens when they get impatient with us to change? You know, we keep getting these messages for us to change, and we just don't. You know.
No, it's very difficult because we are here, like the Alliance or Federation, whatever you want to call them, we're here right now to get rid of all the bad ones, to get rid of the Dracos, of the control. It's not so much sure people should change, but the ones that should have changed in time already did. So now we don't need to wake up new ones. It's more about now to get rid of all the bad ones because they control so much, so strongly the humans that they can't just flee. Sure, you can open their eyes, but with all the mind control going on and fake information and everything around, it's just too good. There's so much controlled, and that's why the Federation comes in, and it will a bit go on like it's called in the Bible. So there will be like crafts will come in that are, but the human crafts pretending with the Antichrist. This will happen in the near future, and then when the Antichrist is in, pretending he's the Messiah or whoever, it's all about technology and AI, really, just pretending to be ET because we know his name, we know where he comes from, we know that he comes from Sub-Sudan, that he works together with the New World Order stuff. And then there comes the real Federation is already here, but they come in and show their crafts when the Antichrist is here. And
what's his name?
I wouldn't like to, I'm not sure, he won't use his name to, I can't say a part of the name because as soon as you know him, he will get to you with his psychic abilities and stuff. Everyone who knows his name is in great danger.
Don't need to hear it.
Okay, then don't tell us.
Yeah,
we have enough trouble already.
I can say it's an Arabic sounding name and people don't know him here in common places. He was a businessman in Syria, and it's no, I think, yeah, there's something with L in it, AL, but I think that's enough of information.
Yeah, my handler's Old Glegly or Al Glegly.
You can find him if you yeah, but it's probably with an E or is it with an A?
Old Glegly.
Glegly, yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, but
it's the they're from England, his parents and his family, and in England, they don't say old, they say OLE, like old, to say old. So he's Old Glegly, and that means in Tunisian it means my friend.
Oh, yeah, he appeared to my uncle just post World War II when he was in the Royal Air Force, stationed in Ceylon, and he heard about Old Glegly. He knew about Old Glegly, right? But he didn't think much about it. He was in his very early 20s. He was a pilot. So they were in this multi-man tent, and he was awakened in the middle of the night by this tall, skinny, 6.5 foot tall figure wearing a red fez, looking very kind of Tunisian, saying, Douglas, have to know his name. Said, Douglas, you have to get up right now. There's a raiding party coming through and you will be killed, or you might be killed, right? So he didn't hesitate. He got right up. The figure disappears. He got out of the tent. About a minute later, a raiding party comes through with bayonets and guns and kills several of the officers. He relayed this story to me as a young man when I was like 15 or 16. And I didn't think very much of it until I saw Old Glegly when I was 18. And then my brother saw him when he was 16, and that was the tall
a couple of years later than
that. But appears the same way throughout 150 years in different areas.
Well, same shape. Yeah, he changes colors in different lighting, but
yeah, mine was he was intense blue white to me.
But he was standing in this portal of light that was just flooding the room with this blue-white light. So,
and it paralyzed the right side of my body and said into my ear, bent down and said to my ear, "Hi, Steve."
Hi, Steve.
Oh, nice.
and then I wanted to talk. I wanted to talk. I could see what he looked like, but I wanted to talk. But part of me was scared because I couldn't move half of my body. The other half I could, and the other half was like, logical. You can't move. The other one was saying, I want to talk, right? And so then it left after about maybe 10 seconds. Came through the front door, by the way, like came through a portal.
Well, we think the portal opened at the front door. We don't think he opened the door and walked through.
Just came through, then went back through. So I blacked out. I was a cabinet maker at the time. My dad and I were working at home. So 6 hours go by. It's 11:30 in the morning. He said, okay, I'm going to go get some food for us, right? So I reached into my right-hand side pocket of the pants I wore to bed because we're workmen, you know, I'm 18, right? So, and I was scared from what had happened the night before. And we were all like wondering what the heck was going on over this 5-night period, right? So anyway, so I reached and pulled out the coins, standard American coins, to see how much money I had, and all the coins were magnetized. And that's not possible, okay? You cannot magnetize American coins.
They make them that way on purpose. You know?
This is 1979, mid-January of 1979. My dad could pick them up too. It didn't matter, okay? And this was just like a series of things that happened 350 miles apart at the exact same time to our bloodline. You know, like my bed being moved 3 times and then being tapped on the shoulder 3 times. You know, later we found there was an implant in my shoulder. My dad, my sister, and I all heard silver bells in the fireplace for 10 minutes that went on. And then my mother, 350 miles away, got a telephone call. She heard the phone ringing, but it was actually the bells. She was hearing the bells too. And there was a voice on the other line talking to her. And it was just like all these things were happening at the same time. And then my dad finally saw, the last night, he saw an intense wall of blue-white light outside of my bedroom door. And he was an ex-cop. He was a Bobby in the English police force. And he said, you know, I'm going to get up and see what's going on, right? So he saw this blue-white encompassing my whole bedroom door. And this voice said, Jeffrey, go back to sleep. Nothing to see here. Stephen's fine. And that's exactly what he did. He went back to sleep. And then he said, what the heck was that? You know, so it was like all this stuff, you know, and this has been throughout my life. I mean, I've been punched in the face 1,000 times. It's been 1,001. I was contacted on December the 1st by 2 tall beings came into my room. Okay. I was actually in my astral body. I was in a room with a bunch of people. These tall, big white guys came. One, the biggest guy, got me and pushed me up against the wall. And my body just went whew, neutralized.
Paralyzed again, yeah.
Pulled my neck and he started looking inside my mouth and examining me. And then he eventually let go. And I was saying, okay, I don't know what that was about. So I went to go talk to some people. And then they came back again. And they pushed me against the wall and did the same thing. And then I was able to talk this time. I talked to the smaller guy. I said, you know, what do you guys want? What's your name? You know, what are you doing? And he told me what they were doing, what his name was, but I just can't remember.
Yeah.
You know, it happened on December the 1st at 3:00 in the morning. And this stuff hasn't gone away from me. I mean, I still get contacted by beings that will end up at the bottom of my bed, that will get into bed with me sometimes, or that will be talking to me on my left side. You know, and it's just amazing.
He's always asking them, what do you want? And they never answer that question, you know?
Well, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Or they can't remember it one way or the other.
Yeah. They don't want us to remember. Right?
I want to back up a little, dear. You said something about the Mantids are controlling the little grays. So I've heard before that the Mantids have more psychic power, I guess it is.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
right?
They're very strong.
And so they are like a hive mind that can control multiple grays at the same time?
I think they do. I mean, they do there, but then again, if these grays are just like people, I don't know, because other beings on the craft have no problems to do many things at the same time, and even being in different places at the same time. But yes, I think they're very strongly. There are 2 types. Like one type is more like the work, because that was on the craft, and they needed to do different procedures. So I'm not sure if he just tells them what to do and they do it, or if he literally controls their movements. Yes, I don't know that, but sometimes the machines or crafts, or even would you call it war machine, what they use in war, they are like very connected consciously. And other mantids are more like for healing. We know that, like the one on the craft with the little teeth, she had he a very long head, and the ones that are like with us more for the healing, they are the ones with the small mantid head. So they're also different races.
I've heard twice now that the Mantids wear purple robes, Did you see anything like that?
No.
No.
No. Mine is naked, kind of, in a way.
Maybe because you're closer, you know.
No, I mean the species, but then there are species in Mantids I never saw anywhere, look-alike, like the long-headed. I never saw the white one with elongated thing on the head. I didn't see it somewhere else. So the other ones with the healing, I need to.
Did you ever get healed by them?
Yes.
For anything?
Yes.
Tell us about that, will you?
There was a time where I went here in a meditation, like very easily, when you don't know what to do. There was like this group meditation, and we wanted to go somewhere, but instead I couldn't go astrally on the other place or mentally in the other place. And I saw this light in front of me, and then I saw these two big heads of the Mantids, and I was like, hey, please, you help me. I want to go mentally on this other planet. And they said, no, relax. We're here to work on your energy, on your body today. And then I felt this very, I don't know how to describe it. It was tingling, warm, cold, this kind of feeling. That's what I can tell with the Mantid healing, because on the craft we normally don't use the Mantids for healing. We have the technology. That's why I don't have any other experience with them healing. I saw them healing others, but not on a craft or on a different planet with myself.
Did you ever have anything magnetized, like when you were came back, like Stephen did?
Magnetized, I don't know, because here in Germany most things are magnetized anyway, but there were certain things that were changed, and especially when I started to get memories what's going on, I asked for having sights and memories, so I saw that I was there with the body on the craft, because since the enemy can get into the mind and the memory, we are not allowed to memorize everything. And so, for example, there was this time where I had like time difference, like I woke up, I knew I was on the craft, I had this information in my head, I watched on my phone, and at night I switched on a very long video to relax, like a relaxing music in the background, and I saw it was 4 hours forwards, but the time on the phone was the main time, but then it's kind of connected. And then I noticed that I have like terrariums, like pets, animals, where there is like these timers for the lights switch on and off.
Sure.
And in an area around my bed, and it's like right here, this is my bedroom, right on the opposite side of the wall, there was an area where all the timers were also 4 hours forwards, and of 4.5, and my thing was only a half hour, so I only slept like half an hour. But really, there was kind of time, I call it time bubble, where it was 4 hours forwards, but not all timers. It was only like around my bed and right in the room behind, right in this area, and on the other side of the room on the wall, the timers, they were all normal, how they should be.
So where do the Mantids come from?
Oh, I have no idea. Sorry. I don't know that.
That's okay. You don't have to know everything.
Yeah. I wish I would know everything. I don't know.
Let's say, we're talking about like the good ones and the bad ones, just to make it simplistic, right, for the audience, that, there's positive and negative factions, and, we're kind of stuck in the middle here, the humans, we got over 8 billion people on the planet. We got collapsing ecosystems, especially the oceans. I mean, these are real physical problems that we're dealing with. We're dealing with the war, multiple wars that are going on. Where does this all fit in? Are they going to have to cull our population down so to save the Earth? I mean, we can't keep on breeding people like we're breeding.
We can, because we are not overpopulated, like they say. We have a lot of room, and inside of the Earth is even more room. And this is all just made up by the elite. And so we are kind of here to make it all better for them. So it's kind of all control to make humans and Earth, like to destroy it, to make it dark, negative, low, and under control. And the same is with the dirt and stuff. We have technology. We could go like in a day. We could clean the whole Earth. We can even clean what do you call it? Like waste, nuclear waste, like from atomic stuff that can be all like cancelled out. That is not a problem at all. It's just that.
Please ask them to do so then.
Yeah, because we haven't seen any real evidence of it so far.
They will, but at the moment the enemy is still in control, and the big fights need to finish first. And for that, we need to force them completely out of the bases. And it's all done, and it's all part saying like keeping population low. That is only for them to keep us under their fingers, right? So.
It's still somebody who's in control of like our future, and that's what I don't really like.
Yeah.
I don't like that part at all. That basically we're being lied to like all the time, and that people will say the hue and cry about, okay, you've had this ability to clean this stuff up, and my grandfather died of cancer unnecessarily because of these toxic wastes, and you've known about this for all this time. It's a real sticky wicket, as they say.
It is, and also that they don't. I mean, they also have all the healing medication and devices to heal these people, and don't do it. When it all comes out, and it will come out, people will be amazingly shocked and sad and angry, and it will be a big thing. But important for now is to look positive, to not panic what's going on also with the wars, because it's all part. Some things need to happen. We know the future. The last timeline, it already happened. We only need to move there, and some things need to happen for the final good end, and it needs to happen with sometimes things that are scary, that look scary, but the last fight won't be more on the ground in the public. It is in the public, but not with the publics, not with the civilians there on the side. It's more like in Middle Ages when they saw the fights in the sky and it's just the soldiers on the ground, and we have to go through this to clean it all up in a way. And after that, we can clean the earth, and we also are kind of free from the mind control again, and it will be very, very different after that.
Are they living underground here? Do they have a lot of underground bases and cities here?
Yes, there are many bases and cities, but many old ones also were taken over by a human military. So the other ones are more like deeper and even in the inner earth where you go, it's like a portal. Like
the deeper you go, too, the less gravity there is. So you would tend to have people be a little bit taller. Also, too, there'd be more. It wouldn't be all vegetarian, but it would definitely be a different diet.
They'd all be pale, a lot more pale, because no sun.
And also, we do know there's subsurface
in the caves,
oceans,
yeah. But
there's subsurface oceans. So.
Exactly, and in the inner, inside, it's like I said, bigger than here. They have light there, they have plants there, they have water there. It's
there's oceans down there, right?
As big as our surface ocean.
They just recently discovered them, I guess.
Yes, the Earth, it's all round is one ocean, but many kind of know. Like for example, even the military uses this under Earth ocean. That's why, for example, in America, there's a little submarine base in the middle of a desert. And really it is, they have like an entrance there right through the Earth's ground to go very, very deep underneath, because there the ocean is also...
Are they traveling via lava tubes, ancient corridors like lava tubes, or is it all something they've carved out?
Like the humans or the ETs?
Either
the
way.
ETs, yeah.
The ETs. It depends on the races. Like the lower races, they go through all the tubes. The higher races, with their crafts, they can just go everywhere with the crafts. It doesn't matter. They can go through material. Like they can go through through the ground or anything. That they don't need tubes to move. Let's say it that way. And the humans, yes, they use the old tubes, but they also make new ones. That's why you often hear these recordings in America, right, where they have this weird noise, like what they call trumpets, when they do make the new tubes.
I heard them myself when I was younger in Woodland Hills. I would hear subsurface stuff going on. I wasn't affected by headaches like some of these people do, but I was sure something was going on underneath our feet.
Yeah. Whitley Strieber too. He spoke of the cabin where he was abducted from. You know, the guy who wrote Communion. He said he was able to hear like drilling sounds, ancient. Under the ground, you know,
they have some kind
tunneling.
Boring machine.
Yeah, they have some kind of trains there, right? That are all connected over the countries and continents, and
just like we
do know that the ancients had the ability to fuse rock and to melt rock, stone. We know that.
Yes, no problem at all. Exactly.
Yeah. That's obvious.
Yeah. It wasn't the poor human with a copper tool.
No. Also, underneath the pyramids, what now comes out, there's very important, beside of the city, there's also very important machine from the Anunnaki that is that the humans still try to get to, like the dark military, and that is kind of still protected by the Anunnaki, that they don't get to it.
I see it like it looks to me like a power plant infrastructure, and maybe that the pyramids were power plants. Do you have a theory on that at all?
Yes, yes, I think so. They were for energy, for power, and they were all around the globe.
Communication. Yeah, they were multi-purpose machines.
Also, on the other planets too, on Mars, for example, there are also pyramids. I spoke with some humans who live on Mars colonies, like from, I think they were in American base or American city underneath, like they have like military cities underneath. And he said that they also call it Egypt there because after Earth, like
no kidding,
Egypt, yeah. But then they also thought Earth was destroyed, so they don't even know we exist. Like we don't know they exist. They are told.
Are the Anunnaki responsible for the radiation signatures, weapons grade radiation signatures we see on Mars in 2 locations?
I don't know. I know on Earth they definitely had their atomic weapons, and they did many bad stuff, and we did many bad stuff and learned from it, and had even lifetimes to kind of sold out the karma and learn from it before coming back. So they had bad atomic wars when the children tried to get into power.
You know, in the Bible, we have there's several stories that have earlier versions in the Sumerian tablets. The Tower of Babel,
Garden of Eden.
The expulsion of Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden. And the Great Flood, of course. But there's also the story about Lucifer. And I think Lucifer might be Enki, who Enlil was mad at him for saving the humans from the flood and banished him. I think he banished him to Earth and his whole household. And that's who's kind of running the underworld is Enki, and he's been here since he was banished by Enlil.
Not true? Not like this. So first of all, we need to remember many good things, people, beings, and names were used in a way and then made or looked like bad ones, and there were beings pretending to be the old gods, even though they weren't. Or the god, the new ones pretended the old ones were the bad ones because they were the enemy. But yes, the name Lucifer and Lucifer, I don't know what's the female form of that, were the both ones in the beginning, but these are not the devil in this term, and he wasn't kind of banished.
No, we don't think so either. But Enlil is like the winner, and he gets to make Enki the bad guy. Even though Enki is supposedly the one who uplifted us, you know.
And Enlil don't like. I mean, he's also with us on the craft now. He's also a commander. He's working with us to help humans, even so he doesn't like humans very much. He prefers animals before
he thinks we're noisy.
We are. Many species think humans are very aggressive, dangerous, evil,
and noisy. He said.
Noisy.
He didn't like our noise.
Yeah. We thought we were noisy before. Now we're 8 billion of them.
Yeah, we're really noisy now.
Yeah, and Enki, they all went back on Earth, and they promised to never do it again. That is correct. Enki and Ninhursag, whatever you want to call it. Because they both also thought as the humans like the children, because they were the main creators from the humans. Like these both were the ones. So it was like they were their own personal children. They still think like this, and that's why they now here. They could stay on their planet and let like their fleet do the work alone, but they wanted to help themselves. That's why they also on the fleet, because normally their son, like what many call Ashtar, Commander Ashtar, he normally is the one who leads the whole fleet when all come together. It's an own command, but he had his own fleet, and normally he would do the work. But since they think humans are so important, they joined. And the interesting thing, Ashtar is the future Enlil. So people who don't like Enlil but love Ashtar, they will be surprised when they find out
they
are the same guy. Yeah.
Just yet another name, for crying out loud. Just pick a name.
Exactly.
It makes us researchers nuts, you know. It's really hard.
It's very
to
very
track
difficult.
them.
So, but they stayed on Earth, and then they decided, all the Anunnakis, okay, we now leave humans alone to develop their own whatever, to get into progress. And the humans they asked Enki and Lady Isis, so please stay with us. Please stay with us. You're our gods, goddess. And they said, okay, we have the promise to take all the technology away here, that you can develop your own civilization in your own kind of way, but we can stay here in a different body. So they made these hybrid bodies that I was talking about earlier,
right.
and went into this body and stayed there, and over time then went into the incarnation cycle into other beings. And that was then when in Egypt time the Dracos pretended to be human priests and took over, and then even pretended to be the old gods. So and then they started with all this bad sacrificing stuff, and
Oh, so that's what
the Anunnaki, the Anunnaki also, they have like that they were offered things, but the Anunnaki, they ate only meat, fruits, vegetables, not the humans. They are not like, they created the humans. Like, okay, maybe in the beginning as slaves, but not to eat. So, okay, so but
yeah, that's really creepy. The idea that the Dracos are maybe eating some people, or we've heard.
They do, yes.
Is that true?
Yes. And
that's
not
why
good. They're even sent to other planets. But sadly, not only the Dracos, also the hybrid children, and even the humans, the deep, dark, elite humans. Like you could see it now in the Epstein files. They were talking open about it, how they eat. So that is all sadly true. And that's why we are also here to rescue the humans trafficking. They were trafficked not only underground as slaves, slaves for mines, slaves for sex, but also for food. They are sent on all the different planets back and forth. And that's why you should never just go on a craft, even so you really want to, if you don't know who it is, because you might
I'm not sure they're giving anybody a choice. Yeah.
Sometimes they do, like when you call for them on purpose, and you say, okay, you really want to go on a craft, you should be careful where you.
Yeah, I tell people we don't recommend the experience.
yeah, you don't go on a stranger's car.
Just like you don't hitchhike anymore.
Yeah, really, don't stick out your thumb.
Exactly. And sure, even if they say, yeah, we can give you, and you don't need ever to come back on Earth. It will be great. So yeah, maybe it means something else when they say you won't come back on Earth anymore. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Are you allowed to interact with your children?
Yes, I'm allowed. Yes, I'm allowed to interact with my children.
You see them up on the ships, or?
Yes, I see them on the ships. I can talk telepathic with them, but also see them on the ships. That is no problem.
How do they appear?
Like how they look like. You mean how they look like?
That's what I mean. What do they look like?
Yeah, most of them. So there's 37. Most of them are like what people would kind of think as the Nordics, so like humans, pale, with like a bit like me, a mix from me and future Anunnaki, like more like long hair. Most of them are girls, so they have like.
Are the eyes a little larger than yours, or?
Not really. Some of them are like a Mantid hybrid. I mean, one at least is a Mantid hybrid, and he looks more like a gray, but he's not a gray, he's a Mantid. You can see it because his legs are kind of backwards. You know, the knees are bent, and he has like not hands, but he has this. The fingers are more like these. I don't know what you call it in English.
Like pinchers.
Yeah. Yes, yes, a bit like this. Yes, the fingers are. Yeah, they are inside. Yeah, and then, for example, what I said earlier, the gecko-like, the lizard or reptilian-like hybrid, he has like a bit bulk on his head, like a bulb, a bit like this, and has a long tail, but looks beside of this also very, very human-like. But then that's because I mix on purpose with the races I'm connected to. Right? I could decide, and most of them are not lucky to decide anything in these hybrid programs. So, and
are all of the alien types like a similar skeletal structure to us, like
33 vertebrae?
Well, I mean, basically, like, you know, with 2 arms, 2 legs, a head.
This is the best outcome. The highest beings are kind of in a form of humans. That's why humans are so special. That's why it's said we are made like gods and stuff, because with that, it's the best results to work on in different dimension and different places, and also because of our special. We have something very special inside of our minds, of our heads, let's say it that way. And it's a perfect, would say, like, this is a peak on evolution, like this, look, for whatever reason.
I think we're pretty advanced, you know. We're clever little apes anyway, you know.
we have many different beings. We have also just like that look like slobs or monkeys or weird figures. You wouldn't even think that it could be an ET, but I work mostly, since I work mostly with Commander Enki, Lady Isis on their craft, and the Ascended Masters that are also on this craft. They are all very human looking. Like on our craft are only human look. On the main craft where I work on the other craft are different ones, and we rescue many different species. Like in the schools from the Federation, there are many also reptilian-likes, or like Arcturians, or lion-like Arcturians, or Lyra, or I don't know, everything probably you can imagine. But
what kind of different creatures, beings have you encountered?
What kind of?
That's a big question, Leslie.
Well, I mean, so the Mantids, the Anunnaki, the Nordics, the Greys. Anybody else have you encountered?
Dracos, sure. Dracos. The well-known ones, like we work together with, but they look all very similar. Andromedan, Pleiadian, from Orion. Then we have from the Pegasus system, We have some being okay. It's probably it don't help you when I say the star system, right? Do you want to know from what place?
Well, it would have to be because the constellation, they can't be from a constellation. It has to be from one of the stars of that constellation, right? So
not even this, because the stars are normally the sun. So normally it's a planet around the stars. That's why it's a bit difficult to say
from the planets of the stars.
Yeah.
Yes.
For example, when you say Arcturians, I know different kind of Arcturians, because Arcturian is only the star, the sun, and they're different planets, right? And so they're different
Just
kind
like
of
Pleiadian, it's just what planets.
Yeah, it's just the star system, really. There are many. For example, in the Pleiadian, also the bad Dracos have a planet. Even the Germans who went off world after World War II, like the Third Reich or Fourth Reich now, they went from Antarctica to Moon to Mars, over all these planets, and now have even a planet in the Pleiadian system. Right? So that means they are kind of now would be called Pleiadian when they come from, but there are many different species there, so it's always a bit confusing.
Interesting. Did you have another question, my dear? Well, we're getting near our time, my dear. Do you have a message that you wanted to impart to our audience?
My message is stay calm, don't panic. I'm very positive. People will see crafts this year if they didn't already see it. I think they will go public this year. And don't fall for the first one who will be in the sky saying he is the good one, because the first one showing up will be the bad ones, even so he pretends to be the good ones. Wait for the second one. How
do we tell the difference?
First and second, very easy.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how what he will do, but the first one he will do a lot of stuff, create things. That is all with technology, but people don't even can compare this, because they never saw that before, right? The second one, he can create out of nothing. The first one always needs something to create, but you won't see it because the first one will pretend to be good. So I think the most thing is the first one won't be the good one.
Beware of Greeks bearing gifts.
Thank you so much again, my dear, for meeting with us. And
thank you.
We've only met one starseed had one starseed on our show before, and I wanted to see if the message was similar from the German starseeds versus the local starseeds, and actually yes, there's a lot of the message sounds very similar to us.
Yeah.
So thank you again, and we'll tune out now, everybody, and thank you all out there in listening land for tuning in again. And we'll see you again soon.
Peace and prosperity.
Bye.
Leslie, you're kidding me.
What?
Our merchandise store is up?
Of course, my darling. All of our amazing concepts of shirts, mugs, and bumper stickers are ready to go.
No way.
Way.
Even my brilliant Egyptian concept that no one else ever thought of before?
Yes, that one too, and lots more. All at our new store at etsy.com/shop/abductions101.
Wow. I want a shirt and a mug and...
Well, Stephen, and all our curious listeners, just go to etsy.com/shop/abductions101 to see all of our unique designs.
I'm going there.